Monster Talks USA. I am your host, Eric Monster Williams, out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm back to discuss a few pressing issues that affect us all as Americans. This is episode 5, and what we'll be doing again is making this video short, sweet, and to the point. On this particular episode, as you all know, there's a pretty hot issue going on in the St. Louis / Ferguson area, but again, it's St. Louis. The death of Michael Brown, or I should say the murder of Michael Brown, a unarmed black teen, and we're pretty much aware of the details of the murder. So let me dive into the areas of concern that I personally have. That being that every time there is a murder of an unarmed black child, somehow or another, people try to diminish this fact by bringing up issues of inter-community violence or quote-unquote black-on-black crime. So let's dive directly into that. First and foremost, as I mentioned on the previous video, when you want to correct a problem or stop something, you want to attack the root. So when you look at black-on-black or inter-community or urban violence, the root of this problem is racism. And I say that because it was racist policies that dictated the housing conditions, the lack of funding for inter-city schools, the what they call white flight, where jobs and large corporations that used to be in large factories that used to be in inter-city environments were essentially removed and sometimes shipped completely overseas, again, which didn't just hurt the inner city, but hurt us all as Americans. But nonetheless, these economic conditions were quite often created by people with true racist values. Now, again, once a snowball is rolling, it's rolling. And that's what has happened essentially, and somehow or another, many cannot seem to connect the dots. Or, you know, when a plane crashes, they try to go back and find the black box so they can determine what was the root cause. They try to do a root cause analysis. And that's what we have to do. You just can't say, hey, this is a crappy plane. No, you have to go back, check the black box. Was there a bird that hit the plane? Was there a missile that shot it down? We have to look at all the factors involved before we just say, hey, this is a bad plane. And going back to the situation of the inter-community or urban or black-on-black violence, this situation, this perfect storm that was created from, let's say, post-slavery, where you have essentially 5 million blacks that were released. A majority were uneducated, weren't able to attain good jobs. So if you have generation after generation of people who are starting off uneducated, but then denied a fair chance at proper housing, jobs, you're going to create a situation of poverty. And again, black-on-black crime is nothing more than poverty-created crime, which I spoke on before in my previous video. So again, let's stop the policy of bringing up black-on-black or inter-community or urban violence whenever there's a murder of an unarmed black child. It makes no sense. The black community, if you were to look at it as a body, it has multiple illnesses right now. So simply because your body has cancer doesn't mean you would not treat your diabetes or your high blood pressure. These are just multiple illnesses. So again, when you have racist terrorists who may be hiding or operating as police officers, we have to weed them out and address the issue. We can't cancel it out simply because there is a totally separate issue or condition, when indeed the issue of racism is the root problem. So once you start to weed out your racist officers, then you start to focus on racist managers at jobs, you start to create a fair level playing field, because as it says on our money, United we stand, divided we fall. And what these races have done is created a situation where they've made a weak link. And so America cannot stand strong on a global level when you have terrorists who are calling themselves Americans trying to tear down a large portion of the population. So that's that. And again, when we look at the inner community or urban violence, we have to look at this. Any human being can be starved to a point of cannibalism. It's not unique to blacks. If you look in 1972, there was a plane that went down and a rugby team was forced to resort to cannibalism to survive. These were people who had to eat their friends and family members to survive. So when you look at what a human being can be forced into, then it would make it a little bit more understandable how it is that you have a high level of violence within the black community. These are people who are around each other, and then you have the conditions which have created, in a sense, a form of cannibalism or a level of hunger to where people will resort to cannibalism. So let's stick to the facts. Let's not allow people just to, throw out a distraction. We're very focused. We want justice for this young man, and not just for this young man, all the countless other young men who either maybe were killed and or are thrown into prison, this new slavery system, without a just cause, without actually committing any crime. This is something that I will dig into much deeper. But again, we are really only focused on the murders. And every now and then we hear a story of someone being released from prison after 20 years and being freed from DNA evidence. And if you just imagine how long young black males have went through this process, again, since post-slavery.